When it comes to writing, I am a gardener, and this thought seed was planted in 2017 with the title In the Maw of the Rockworm. In 2021, I started my Pareidolia series, which led to this creature, and I knew I had found my rockworm. Then in December of 2021, I had a lovely sketchbook session that spontaneously produced all of these cool creatures and a really scribbly thumbnail that I ended up really liking. These kangaroo dinosaur dog creatures were really fun to come up with. As I doodled along, I just started thinking of how I would rather them be domesticatable than be wild, because I can't imagine being chased down by something that looks like that. So the story behind this illustration is that these riders are coming up on this rockworm to harvest the object it keeps in its maw. Now, I don't want them to kill the beast. I want them to have to use magic to subdue the beast and then climb into its mouth and take the object from the worm, because the magical items they have inside of them can be regrown, so you don't want to kill the beast and lose a regenerating source of a magic material. I haven't figured out what that magic is yet that this creature possesses, but I'm sure I'll get there at some point. What I do have figured out so far is that my main characters, Axon and Gretchen, are going to come to this place and interact with this raiding party somehow. I have a previous illustration up called The Coral Desert. It's not narrated, but it's up on YouTube. And I think I'm going to use that as the starting point for this little narrative arc that I want to create. So at some point, I need to fill in the gaps from that Coral Desert illustration to this rockworm illustration. And I do have that in the works, but seeing as, like I said, I'm a gardener, I kind of plant things and then kind of wait for them to grow a little before I harvest the idea. I think this is just a fancy way of saying that I'm a little unorganized, and I maybe chase a few too many plot lines at the same time. One thing I've noticed with my illustrations lately is that a lot of them have a desert theme to them. And even though I don't have a lot of information about these creatures, like the rockworm or the kangaroo dog creatures, I have a lot of thought time invested in the landscape. And so right now, the setting is the Greater Drylands, which encompasses a whole bunch of different sub-biomes. I'll be adding some information in the description about these places, so if you're curious about that, go have a read, and I'll also link in the description my video of the Coral Desert. I'll also be leaving a link to my World-building Sketchbook. I'll be going through that sketchbook and choosing my favorite illustrations to help me flesh out, tell more stories in this world that I've been building. I would love to hear your thoughts on this illustration and the creatures that I've drawn. I would especially love to hear about what you think a giant rockworm would have as a magic power, or what wizards and magicians would need with its mouth orb, and what kind of things would they be able to do with it. If you have any questions at all about this world I'm trying to build and the story I'm trying to tell, please ask them, because it really helps me to flesh out my world even more. I'll see you next time.